Hey, it's Monster, one half of your dynamic hosting duo of the Nerdy Man Room Show. Proudly bringing you another Man Room Short. Enjoy, and as always, please remember, viewer discretion is advised.
That original line you talk about having every figure they made, that was a huge line. As big as some of the
Yes.
ones like Masters of the Universe were and GI Joe. GI Joe is probably the only one with more individual characters, but I did not realize this until I looked it up recently. Did you realize that there were over 400 individual different characters in that line?
I
Holy
could
crap.
never find when I was researching. I could not find how many total figures it was. I kept seeing a list and list, and I said, I'm not counting all these son of a bitches. But I did see where they made with the original line that run from 88 to 92, $1.1 billion,
Yeah.
and that's just counting 88 to 92. This property is almost 40 years old at this point. Do you know how much damn money has been made off the Ninja Turtles about just action figures alone? It's,
Oh,
it's unfathomable.
it's astronomical. I will say that dollar figure is high for some toy lines. Now there's other toy lines that produce more than that. Like, let's be
Oh
honest, the Star
yes.
Wars toy line, Kenner Star Wars toy line was much more money than that, but less figures in it. So that's a little bit different. But I couldn't find a total full count of the number of figures. But everything I found said 400 plus.
Wow.
So it's less than, we know it's less than probably 450, or they would have said 450 plus, but 400 plus. So I'm saying probably in the 400 to 425 range. Because I figure when you hit those 25 marks is when they'll actually put that number plus.
Well, at a certain point, we started getting slippery slopes. You had Raphael, you had Cowabunga Raphael, you had Pizza Slice Raphael, you
Yeah.
had Space Raphael. I mean,
The
and
ones
you
where
had
they,
this for every turtle. So it did get to a point where it's like, ooh, we're jumping a shark.
well,
But they jumped a very costly shark.
well, then you had the ones where you open up the shell and you transform them back into it, and they look like a regular turtle. Or you open the shell and you've got different
I
weapons
had
inside the
those.
shell.
You know what? I'm
Those
gonna be honest. Both of those were cool to me. I had the one that transformed into the turtle, and I had the one that had the shell that opened up and you could store things inside of him. That was my cyborg turtle.
I had certain one. I had all four of the original turtles, and I had Splinter, and I did get a few others like Metalhead and Ace Duck, and but as far as like getting replicas of all the turtles, there was only a couple of turtles that I would buy multiple replicas of, and Donatello and Leonardo, I would buy different ones of them just because they were my favorites. Now I like Michelangelo and Raphael, but I felt like I uh, related more to Donatello, but Leonardo was my favorite because I always liked the leader characters for whatever reason. But for those, I would buy multiple versions. Like I had Samurai Leo and I had Punk Rock Donnie, and which I have seen that Super Seven has out now. That one I almost went for and bought, but yeah, I didn't buy a ton of multiple versions of those. I always want more characters. Like who's a different one I can get?
I was a Raphael man for obvious reasons, but I actually still had the
Because he was
movie
cool but rude,
versions. Hey, give me
relatable.
a break. There you go. I actually had the movie versions of the original Turtles up until my son was probably about 5, and he got kind of into Ninja Turtles. And like a dummy head, I give them to him thinking, because they held the test of time. Because, their arms are they were a little flexible, their arms and legs,
Yeah.
the first versions. He found a way to flex them to the max. When I introduced my children to Ninja Turtles, I'm going to embarrass my daughter right here because she had a fifth turtle, Alfredo. And she swore this up in her early teens. She said, "No, Dad, there's another one, Alfredo." I said, "No, there's not, baby."
Well, that might have been
She's in her
Venus.
third year of medical school right now, folks. So just know that there's a nurse one day going to check you out that thought there was a fifth turtle named Alfredo.
Well, there has been a fifth turtle in a couple of different media. You had Venus, and then you had Jenica in the comics.
Yeah.
So that's the only two I could think of. But hey, or a
Didn't they
Slash,
have
I
one
guess.
in the last series? Well, didn't they introduce a female turtle finally?
I don't know. This last one I couldn't watch. But the last one, well, when you say the last one, the one I'm thinking of is the one where like Donatello's got steampunk glasses and they're all drawn like very skinny, and each one like
Ooh,
that
one
one's
right
terrible.
before that. The only flaw I had with that one was the fact that they went with the Donatello having the chipped tooth, or Michelangelo one, like kind of in the movie.
Yeah, I don't remember that one too much. They might have. I'm not sure.